Today's video is 5 things that can totally derail your scape, and it's featuring my worst scape ever. Welcome back to the Small Scape. Today's video is a follow-up, kind of a part 2 to last week's video, and it is featuring my latest rescape for the Rummy Nose Rasbora. It's 20 gallon long, and I was all excited to combine 2 different scapes, like elements of what I liked, and combine them, and it was not cooperating. It wasn't working, and I basically just abandoned the ship, left it, jumped overboard, and said, I'm out. And I put the video out, left you with basically how it was at the point, and asked you, what's wrong with this scape? I had my own ideas. I have at least 5 ideas that I'm bringing to you that you can hopefully use and are going to be helpful for you when you have something. Maybe you're trying to get an aquascape together, trying to make some decisions, or if something is not working, here's some thoughts. And I'd like to thank everybody who left comments and gave me suggestions. You guys were so nice. Seriously, thank you so much. And I'm still reading them. I'm still processing and getting back to everybody, but thank you so much for being so kind. And this tank, and wait till I'll probably put it at the end because it has to do with, I think, the 5th point. But I have like the cutest little story for you regarding the little inhabitants, which I've already made some changes in there, but they're very happy. They're living life. They're looking adorable, and they're being very cooperative with me because I told them, I said, you're gonna love it. When I'm done, you're gonna love it. But here are 5 things, and I really don't mind totally messing up an aquascape. I really don't. I've had some real doozies over the years where I was like, I don't know what I was thinking. What is that? But you learn things. You learn what you like, what you don't like, how you like to assemble an aquascape, how you don't, what doesn't work for you. And I'll get into that in a little bit. And maybe you can glean some information, some ideas from this. But number 1, and I do have some really weird notes, so you'll see me kind of glancing off somewhere else. But number 1 is the left side, yuck. The aquascape that I did, it was basically a recreation in my green neon holding tank, and I had liked how all the plants were laying. It was basically just that long linear piece of driftwood, kind of like a fallen log sort of feel, and it had a lot of bulbitis, basically making a wall along the back, and I recreated that. And then along the bottom, when you kind of tapered down to the end of the log, it was Anubias, just getting smaller and smaller, and then a few little rocks here and there. And for whatever reason, well, you just can't recreate exactly an aquascape. But yes, I agree that the left side, it doesn't work with the rest of the scape, and I knew that. I just wanted like a something over there to see, hey, do I want something there? And obviously it wasn't that. It wasn't that at all. And it's still not cooperating with me what to put on the left-hand side. But number 2, a lot of you mentioned a triangular scape. So just forget that left-hand side. Have some negative space, which I agree. I love negative space. It lets your eyes rest, as opposed to having stuff everywhere. You just have to fill up every single corner and just fill it. It's just, I have an issue, and it's probably just how I create the scape, because I love when other people do it. But if you have a tank, a landscape tank, and one side is empty, nothing there, I don't like it. Especially the ones that I've created. I've liked some scapes that I've done, but when there's just an aquarium wall, just a piece of glass, and the fish just swimming up to the aquarium glass on one of the sides as you were looking at the tank, I don't like it. It just looks like something is missing. But it gets difficult when you are messing with that triangle, which is kind of splitting the tank in 2 on the diagonal, and you want to leave some empty space. I'd love to do that with this one. However, my plants are they're just not taking up enough mass on the right-hand side. The bulbitis is too wimpy. It's not cooperating, and I've even tried to get some more. I thought I had some more, didn't. So I think I have a solution, but we'll get to that later. Number 3, what's with that back rock? All right, when I was just putting in, and that's what's really kind of difficult sometimes when you don't have a clear inspiration, you just don't have a clear game plan, you're like kind of wishy-washy, well, I'm gonna try this, I don't know, and you got the camera rolling and you're trying to work around it, and I had like an hour and a half just of the footage trying to decide what I was going to do, but all I was trying to do was kind of bump up that log and then start building up some rock work for the Bobitis to kind of be attached to and flow over with. So it was really just to hold up and bump up some of the plants. It's not really meant to be visible or attractive, because it is like people have told me it's not even visible, so why did you even put it there? I agree. However, sometimes, and especially with this one, there are very particular spots that I do like the Scape. Like I like that front little flat rock with that one piece of Bobitis that is behaving and it's going straight up. Just that little vignette is adorable. I may work with that somehow, but other than that, like behind it, there is a lighter colored gray rock, or even I think it's got a little bit of tan in there. And what it does is, since I have I do have a mass of plants, I've added more jungle veil along the back to give it kind of a wall of green, and then the Bobitis I messed around with a little bit. But I do like to have little bare spots where the light can shine through and you can see like a little brightness, and then when fish kind of swim through there, you can see them too. And then I really think an aquascape is way better when you see the fish interact with the aquascape, because it's very rewarding for you and for the little guys and gals. But I'm gonna get to that later too, because like I said, it's a really cute little story. Number 4, this is a big one, I think, that can totally derail your Scape. And it is, your Scape is too busy. You have too much going on. Maybe you want to have a really cool rock, but you have this really cool piece of driftwood, and then you've got some new plants, and you got your favorite plants. If you're like me, you just can't make a decision. So you just try and use it all and try and work it all together. Frequently for me, it doesn't work, because the more components I put in a Scape, the more I just can't decide what's going where. So I like to do what I call simple Scapes. That doesn't mean they're easy. That doesn't mean they're just rock and a plant or two and you're done. But to keep the components very limited. So it depends what you are looking for. Focus on driftwood. Do you have a big focus on the rock work? Is that your main star of the show? Or is it plants? You have to make your decision. Which one do you want the eye to focus on? And then limit your players, and also the kind of like the styles. So the problem I'm having is that I have a very linear upward kind of triangular shape on the right hand side, and then the left hand side is kind of left doing its own thing, which is not working, but it does allow me to kind of play, just mess around. Number 5, this is a big one also, along with number 4, and very similar, and that is too many different plants. Now there are aquascapers that know what they're doing. I do not consider myself to know what I'm doing to that extent. They're using high-end plants, stem plants, different colors. They're just James Nature Aquatics. He's one of the best scapers that I can think of that has many different plants. I was fortunate enough to have my little Scape next to his, so I got to appreciate his, although I wanted to put something in between mine and his, so mine didn't look, going right up against his, but it was beautiful. So many different kinds of plants and textures and colors, and it just totally worked. It was beautiful. If I would have tried to do that, it would have just looked like a total hodgepodge. So I'm way better at limiting my plants to 1 to 3 different types of plants. If it were up to me, frequently I would just pick one type of plant and just mass plant it. I think it can be very striking, but if you want to do 2 or even 3 plants, that's great too. And then if you have a kind of a star of the show, kind of like I have the Rotala, put it in like an accent, not in a kind of like a main player. I had it along the back just because that's where it was in the green neon tank, and for whatever reason, it worked back there. It looked like it should have been there. There was nothing that bothered my eyeballs about it, but when I put it there, it didn't look good. So I have moved that a little bit, but all right, so the tank is not complete. It is not done. I'm not rushing it. And matter of fact, well, first I thought I was going to just, I'm out. It's scaped right now. The left-hand side doesn't look like it did. This was called a late night scaping the other night, and I was up until I don't know when, but I was just putzing around, trying this, trying that. And what I did was I stacked 3 rocks on top of each other. You know, it was like a cliff coming up. I don't know, I was just kind of messing around. Do I like height over there? You know, whatever. And then I put in a piece of driftwood because I didn't want it to dry out. It was from the Limia tank, actually. And I was like, well, let me just try to see if I like driftwood over there. So maybe multiple pieces of driftwood. And it looked just really silly. It looked really silly. But as I'm like trying to look around the fish room, because there's rocks and driftwood everywhere on the ground because we're, you know, taking down tanks. And I was just looking around, then I came back and oh my gosh, they were so cute. It was like, it was an amusement park. All the Cory cats came out, all the rummy nose, even there's 2 CBDs that are still left in there that I have to get out. They were like a magnet. They were playing in and out of the driftwood and up and through the rocks. It was the cutest thing I ever saw. And I said, you know what? I'll just leave it for you guys for right now. I'm gonna leave it for you, but I said, I'm gonna fix it for you. So you have lots of play area, lots of room to explore, and I'll just do it later. But I have another idea, but I'm gonna be jumping over to a different scape where I actually do have a very clear inspiration and also a funny story to go along with it. But there are 5 things that I just hope help you, that for me, they can totally derail escape. Things that I just kind of keep in the back of my mind. And the more I mess up with these and kind of go against the thinking, you know, keeping things minimal, keeping plan choices very limited, and then just going with kind of a clear, if I'm gonna go for a triangular, kind of, which I really do. If you've noticed, I do really like, and I do that frequently, but I do prefer kind of going this way. So if you're looking at a cube tank, it's going from the back to the front, you know, like that sort of thing, that's okay. But I don't know, the scape that I had currently, that log that's taking up 2/3 of the tank, I think it actually just belongs, the pieces that I have, it belongs in a smaller tank. In a 10-gallon, I think it would probably work out great. It would look really swell. Maybe I'll do that at some point, but I do have a couple ideas. So hopefully this video helps you, and hopefully you are having a really great scaping week yourself. Let me know what you're up to, and I'll see you next time.